Now, in order to have a better understanding of the poem, uh, we are going to read the whole poem word to word, and uh, I am going to give you an explanation of the whole poem as well. However, keep one thing in mind that because it is a fragment, the poem is a perfect example of fragmented narratives where it seems as if you are trying to join various pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. However, these puzzles are this puzzle is a mix of various puzzles. That is, one riddle moves on to another riddle, one question moves on to another question. So, in order to have a better understanding of the poem, I've divided the poem into six sections according to the themes of the the most important themes of that section. So you are going to find the these you know a critical analysis along with this word to word explanation. However, at the end of this explanation, you are going to find a complete, detailed critical appreciation as well. And that critical appreciation comprises of those literary devices that are repeatedly used or that are ultimately going to make your answer better. So let's move on to the text. So the first section is from lines, it covers the lines 1 to 12, and the major theme of the this section is we come to know about the introduction of the main character, that is Prufrock, and we are also told about his problem, about his inner turmoil. So we are introduced to the speaker of the poem, that is J. Alfred Prufrock, and his inner struggles. The poem opens with Prufrock addressing an unknown listener. Some people interpret, or some critics believe, that it is his beloved. However, we find that it's more, even if it is his beloved, maybe the beloved is his conscience, because we do not find any reference whether this person or the listener is a male or a female. Maybe it is his conscience to which he's talking, and he invites that listener to join him on a journey of self reflection, that is, thinking about his own self, and exploration. He expresses his doubts and anxieties, pondering whether he should dare to disturb the universe by sharing his thoughts and concerns. Prufrock feels trapped by his insecurities. It seems as if he is, despite having physical freedom, he is fully bound by the societal pressures. And these insecurities compel him to ask a rhetorical question, and that is, do I dare disturb the universe? That is, it is why is it considered a rhetorical question? Because this question is being asked uh, from someone. However, we don't know who that someone is, but we do not. This rhetorical question is not responded. So. If it had been responded, it would not have been, this poem would not have been a monologue, it would have been considered a dialogue. So, the rhetorical question that he asks is, do I dare disturb the universe? Uh, it This question is very important, and you can use it as a quotation to embellish your answers. This question basically highlights his hesitation and fear of societal judgment. Despite being different from the society, we find that Prufrock does not want to be considered as as an outcast. He wants to be a part of the society, and this is the dilemma of modern man. That despite being different from the society, modern man has a desire to be, uh, you know, uh, to be the part of this whole vicious cycle. So let's move on to the explanation of this section. Se io credesse ci mia risposta fosse a persona ci me tornasse al mondo. Questa fiamma staria senza più scose, ma perciò mai di questo fondo non torno vivo elcans ai odo il vero. Senza tema di infamia ti rispondo. Now, obviously, this language is not known to you people. So, but we find that this is some sort of response to something. There are some familiar words here. For example, persona. You find uh, uh, infamia, some and respondo. So it means that there is this is some sort of response. This is basically the epigraph of the poem. And this epigraph has been taken from Dante's Inferno. Inferno is one of his very famous poems. So, this is the eighth chasm of hell where Dante meets Guido, who has been now Inferno is basically an explanation of what hell really is. It seems as if Dante has been to hell to explore what hell is like. So there he meets Guido, who has been punished uh, along with his other, deceitful counselors in a single prison of flame for his treacherous advice on earth to Pope Boniface. Now, we find that uh, this speech is basically of Guido, who is, uh, who is talking to Dante, and the translation of these words is, if I thought that my reply would be to someone who would ever return to earth, this flame would remain without further movement. It is going to stop burning. But no one has ever returned alive from the gulf. If what I hear is true, I can answer you with no fear of infamy. Now, obviously, this reference to Inferno, it tells us about, rather, it is foreshadowing the trauma through which, Prufrock undergoes. The mental pain he's undergoing because of his chaotic surroundings. So he says that people who have been punished, the gist of this whole this passage is that uh, people have uh, those people who are suffering, they have been condemned to eternal suffering. So, this is actually foreshadowing the eternal suffering through which Prufrock undergoes, or he will be undergoing through the course of the poem. He, uh, these words are being recited by Prufrock himself. And in the very start of the poem, he tells us that he is going through turmoil, he is going through hell, he's going through in an inferno. And maybe he's assured, he's confirmed that no one will be able to, uh, you know, help them out. No one is going to help them uh, to succeed uh, in coming out of this traumatic conditions. Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. It seems as if it is the time of the day is evening, as he is talking to uh, an unknown person, a person who is not known to the reader. Maybe he is an acquaintance, he or she is an acquaintance of Prufrock. However, we do not come to know who that person is. He says that when the evening is spread out against the sky, when it has covered each and everything, and evening is a symbol that is indicating loss of hope. That is, it is because it is indicating the fall of the sun, so the setting of the sun. So it means that the hope has already vanished. So he's telling that someone, you and I, maybe the you is the reader. He says maybe it is his beloved, maybe it is another unknown person, maybe it is an acquaintance, maybe it is his conscience. So he says that let's move on when it is evening. And then he uses a simile of like a patient etherized upon a table. So he says that let's move on. Right now, you and I are like a patient who has been given anesthesia. So we are neither we are neither completely unconscious nor are we completely conscious. So it seems as if this patient is under the influence of anesthesia and he's lying on the surgical table. So then he says, let us go through certain half deserted streets, that is, half empty streets, the muttering retreats. Muttering are whispering retreats, isolated retreats. Retreats are those areas where people go for rest. The muttering retreats of restless nights in one night cheap hotels. Let's spend our night in a one night cheap hotel, which is a temporary abode for those for travelers. And why is he referring to cheap hotels? He says that, and then he says, and sawdust restaurants, sawdust, those cheap restaurants which are, you know, neither neat nor do they have quality food with oyster shells. And these restaurants have, now see, this is a very uh, unbecoming sort of a symbol. Oyster shells, that is, as if the oyster, the flesh has been consumed and only the shells are lying there, and he wants to spend a night in one of those cheap hotels with where there is no proper availability of complete facilities, because most of the time these facilities are used by the poor people, by who do not have any uh, place to live. So then he describes streets that follow like a tedious argument of insidious intent. Insidious is hidden, concealed. So he says, let's go towards one of those streets which are followed, which seem to be a problem or an argument, exhausting, so not exhaustive, exhausting sort of argument that is never going to end, because the intent of this argument is not to solve a problem, rather it is to further intensify it. So he says that insidious intent to lead you to an overwhelming question, uh, and these streets are going to be like you know uh, winding sort of a course, or a maze sort of a thing, where there is an argument, and this argument is going to lead to a very important question. Maybe the listener of this, of Eliot's, uh, or his partner, he asks what it is, but Eliot stops him and he says, "Oh, do not ask. What is it? Let us go and make our visit. Let's stop here. Let's go and visit those places which are, which do not have any value, those places which do not have any, promise of a good future."